Our next unit is on exponential functions. Here in the very first graph, I have the parent function for exponential functions. That's y equals 2 to the x. And this 2 indicates a doubling on every iteration, or with every new number. Notice, please, that the y-intercept of this is at 0, 1, and there's an asymptote at 0. The graph goes towards 0, gets real close to 0, but never hits 0. Therefore, our domain is all of the reals, and our range will be y greater than 0, the y value is greater than 0. Now, if we change the function slightly, here now I've multiplied outside of the parentheses, and I've changed the inside the parentheses from a 2 to a 1/2. This means it's dividing by 2 every time. So I've taken -3 and plugged it in for x and gotten 16. -2 in for x gives me 8. -1 gives me 4.
Miss Basso and Miss Paul, please report to the main office. Miss Basso and Miss Paul, please report to the main office.
Thank you, Miss Atkins. 0 gives me 2, 1 gives me 1, 2 gives me 0.5, and if I plug in 3 for x, I get 0.25. When I graph those, you can see those points get closer and closer to 0, but they never quite get to 0, even though my green graph line looks like it goes over a little bit. The domain in this case is all the reals, and the range are the numbers all greater than 0. And we'll see an example now of something that doesn't have a domain of y greater than 0. Notice that our y-intercept here is 0, 2. This next example, we have a 1.5 here. That means it's going to be going up 1.5 times each iteration. And the number out front here is a -3 over 2. So if I plug in -3 for x, I get -0.4 for repeating. -2 for x gives me -0.666 repeating. If I plug in -1, I get -1. If I plug in 0, I get -3/2. If I plug in 1, I get -2.25. If I plug in 2, I get -5.0625. If I plug in 3, I get -7.9375. You can see I've graphed those red points here and drawn a green line as close as I can to those. Notice here that the y-intercept is 0, -3/2. So that number out front must be the y-intercept. And for our domain, it's all the reals, and our range is the y's less than 0. This should be less than 0. There you go, less than 0.